Hello Year 2 and welcome to today's phonics lesson. So yesterday we looked at two different rules, didn't we, of how to add the suffix s to make superlative adjectives. Now, before we see how much we can remember from yesterday's lesson, let's do Are You Ready? Okay, are you ready to shout the different sounds to your screen? Brilliant, let's go. Okay, Year 2. Brilliant, well done. I can hear you all the way from here. You really know your sounds, don't you? So we're going to start with today's retrieval activity. So seeing how much we can remember from the last few lessons, okay? So you need to add the suffix est to these adjectives to make them superlative adjectives, okay? So try and remember the rules that we learnt yesterday and change these words, okay? Pause the video now and have a go. Okay, Yeti, should we see how you got on, how much you remembered? So, first one, noisy. Now, what do you notice about the adjective noisy? Yes, that's right, it ends in a Y, doesn't it? Now, what did we have to do if an adjective ended in a Y to add the suffix est? Yes, that's right, we had to change the Y to an I, didn't we, before we add the suffix est? So that would mean that noisy changes to noisiest. So we've changed the Y to an I and then added the suffix est to make noisiest. So there you go, there's our first rule. If a word ends in Y, change it to an I. Now the next one, late. Now what do you notice about the word late, the adjective late? Yes, that's right, it ends in an E, doesn't it? So therefore, what do we need to do? Yes, we need to drop the E, get rid of the E, and then add the suffix est. Okay, so let's do that. And there we go, we get latest. Now, latest only has one E, doesn't it? It doesn't have two. And why is that? Because we've dropped the E before we've added the suffix est. So there you go, there's our second rule from yesterday. If a word ends in E, get rid of the E before you add the suffix est. Now the next word, short. Now short doesn't end in a Y and it doesn't end in an E, does it? So therefore, we don't need to change it. We just have to add the suffix est to make shortest. Now, what about cold? Well, the same as short, cold doesn't end in a Y and it doesn't end in an E, does it? So therefore, we don't have to change it. We just have to add the suffix est to make coldest. Now, what about funny? What does funny end in? Yes, it ends in a Y. Now look at the two rules at the bottom of the page. Which one do we follow? Yes, if a word ends in a Y, change it to an I. So therefore, funny becomes funniest when we change it to a superlative adjective because we changed the Y to an I. Now, the next one, fine. What does fine end in? Yes, an E. And therefore, we need to follow the second rule and drop the E before we add the suffix to make finest. Brilliant, well done if you got those right. But if not, don't worry, why don't you go and have a look at yesterday's lesson again and then try this activity again and see if you can get them right the second time. Right, let's move on to today. So, our first question for today is what is a vowel and what is a consonant? Ooh. Now, we've learnt about this in class. Can you remember what a vowel is? If you know what a vowel is, shout it to your screen now. How many vowels do you know? Okay, should we see if you were right? So a vowel. The vowels in the alphabet are A, E, I, O, and U. So a consonant is any letter in the alphabet that isn't a vowel. So if it isn't A, E, I, O, or U, then the letter is a consonant, like T, and X and S and B. Okay, all of the letters that are not vowels. And remember, our vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. Can you repeat those after me? A, E, I, O, and U. Now, these are single vowel sounds because there's only one letter. But we also have vowel digraphs. Now, can you remember what a digraph is? Pause the video and tell the person you're with, or have a think. What is a digraph? Okay, should we see if you are correct? So a digraph is when two letters make one sound. Fantastic. Can you think of any examples? Yes, like A. A has an A and a Y, doesn't it? Or we have Oi, which has an O and an I. Now, digraph is. What do you think a vowel digraph is? Yes, a vowel digraph is when there's two vowel letters which are put together to make one sound. So each letter in the digraph has to be a vowel. Remember, A, E, I, O, and U. So here we've got some of the digraphs that we've learnt. We've got A, the other A, E, or O, and U. Okay, so let's look at the first one. We've got A. Now, let's look at the first letter in the digraph A. Is that a vowel? Let's think back to our vowels. A, E, I, O, and U. Well, yes, the first letter is A. So that means that it is a vowel. Now let's look at the second letter in our digraph. It's an I. Now let's say our vowels again. A, E, I, O, and U. So that is a vowel as well. So therefore, A is a vowel digraph. Okay, what about the second one? We've got A again, but with different letters. Now the first one, the first letter in that digraph, A, is A, isn't it? And that's a vowel. Remember? A, E, I, O, U. Now what about Y, the second letter in that digraph? No, that's not a vowel, is it? It's not A, E, I, O, or U. So therefore, one letter in that digraph is a vowel, but the other one isn't. And therefore, that is not a vowel digraph. Okay, now we have 5 more digraphs on this page. We have E, or, O, and U. What I'd like you to do is pause the video and see if you can work out if it is a vowel digraph or not. Okay, pause the video now. Okay, year 2, let's see if you were right. So we've got Now, the first letter in yes, that's a vowel, isn't it? A, E. There you go, that's a vowel. What about an R? Is that a vowel? No, it's not, because it's not A, E, I, O, or U. So therefore, is not a vowel digraph because one of the letters is a vowel, but the other one isn't. Now, what about E? Well, the first letter is E, and we know from that E is a vowel. What about A? Yes, it's our first vowel in the alphabet, A. So therefore, E and A are both vowels. So E is a vowel digraph. Well done if you got that right. Now, what about OR? Well, O is one of our vowels, A, E, I. What about R? No, R is a consonant, isn't it? So therefore, OR is not a vowel digraph because the O is a vowel, but the R isn't. Okay, what about O? Well, we've got O as the first letter, and that's a vowel, isn't it? A, E, I, O. And the second letter is an A, which is also a vowel. So therefore, that is a vowel digraph. Now, the last one, they've got 2 O's, haven't they? And let's try A, E, I, O. There we go. So both of the letters in that digraph are vowels. So therefore, it's a vowel digraph. Now we know that. Shall we move on to the next rule? Do you think you're ready for the next rule? Okay, let's have a look. So rule number 3, if a word ends in a single vowel, so not a digraph, a single vowel, so A, E, I, O, and U, and then a consonant, you have to double the last letter. So you have to double the consonant. But this is not the case if words end in a or a Y. Ooh, that's a tricky rule, isn't it? So let me say it. If a word ends in a single vowel, so not a vowel digraph, and one consonant, you have to double the consonant. But if the word ends in a W or a Y, you don't double it. So let's the example. We have the word, and it starts with a B, I, G. Now, it ends in a consonant, doesn't it? A G. Now, let's look at the letter before that. Well, we have an I. Now, is that a vowel digraph? Well, no, it's a single letter. So therefore, because it's a single vowel followed by a consonant, we have to double the consonant at the end of the word to give us B. Okay, let's look at some more examples. So here we have the word hot and the word now. Let's look at the word hot first. What does it end in? Does it end in a vowel? Or does it end in a consonant? Yes, that's right, it ends in a consonant. T is a consonant. Now, I'm going to look at the letter that is before the consonant, and that is an O. Now, we don't have a vowel digraph here. It is a single letter vowel, just an O. So therefore, my word ends in a consonant and has a single vowel before. So therefore, we need to follow my rule, don't we, of doubling the consonant at the end to make hot, double T, and then we add our suffix est to make hottest. Okay, let's try one. Now, what's the last letter in plus? Yes, that's right, it's a T, isn't it? Which is a consonant. Now, before it, what's before it? Yes, it's an A. Now, is this a vowel? No, it's not, because it's just an A on its own. So therefore, it's a single vowel. So our word ends in a T, which is a consonant. And then before that, we have a single vowel. So therefore, we have to follow my rule again of doubling the consonant at the end. So there you go. Let's double the consonant. So we've got flap with two T's, and then we need to add the suffix est. Flattest. Okay, now let's look at another. Now we've got fair here. Now what does fair end in? Yes, it ends in an R, doesn't it? Which is a consonant, isn't it? It's not A, E, I, O, or U. So therefore, R is a consonant. So we could follow the rule, but let's look at what's before. Now we've got an I, and before that we've got an A. Oh, so therefore, that is not a single vowel, is it? It's not a single vowel sound. It is a digraph. Our digraph A. So therefore, do we double the consonant at the end? No, we don't, do we? Because it is A. It is a vowel digraph and not a single letter vowel. So therefore, that makes fairest. Okay, now